Hello, Grenadier community. Michael Dereshteanu, Vice President of Montreal Chapter Association, and I'm here at the base of the Georges-Étienne Cartier Monument in Montreal. We're about to start our Ruck for Remembrance March in honor of Remembrance Day, and I'm here with Ranjan Roy, also member of our association. We're going to be marching up the mountain twice, up and down twice. That'll be 22 kilometers. And we're also going to be laying a wreath at the cemetery, or at the gravesite of John Francis Young in honor of Remembrance Day. More to follow as we continue on the march. Stay tuned, and I hope you all, in your own way during the COVID crisis, keep in mind Remembrance Day and all that have fallen and served with us, and more to follow. Ranjan, we're on the march, and we're doing Ruck for Remembrance. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling fantastic, Michael. I can keep at this all day.
All day long.
Yeah. Oddly enough, I will be at this all day long.
Exactly. Well, I have to say we are the most colorful people on the trail, because no one is walking with a wreath on their back.
That's true.
We're almost at Beaver Lake. The next stop will be the cemetery.
Yeah.
So we made it up to Beaver Lake, and now we're going to cut across and go to Mount Royal Cemetery. And once we get to Mount Royal Cemetery, we will lay the wreath and do a little ceremony for John Francis Young. So we finally made it up to the cemetery. We're here on Mount Royal at the grave site of John Francis Young. In the middle of our Ruck for Remembrance March, we cut across the field to come to the cemetery to also pay tribute and honor John Francis Young in honor of Remembrance Day, who, as many of you know, in our regiment was, during World War I, was a recipient of the Victoria Cross for bravery in the field of battle. I'm just going to take a moment to read the citation, just to remind us of why John Francis Young merited the Victoria Cross. For most conspicuous bravery and devotion to duty, an attack at Duri-Ara sector of on the 2nd of September 1918, when acting as a stretcher bearer attached to D Company of the 87th Battalion Canadian Grenadier Guards. This company in the advance over the ridge suffered heavy casualties from shell and machine gun fire. Private Young, in spite of the complete absence of cover, without the least hesitation went out and in the open fire swept the ground, dressed the wounded. Having exhausted his stock of dressings on more than one occasion, he returned under intense fire back to his company lines for further resupply. This work he continued for over an hour, displaying the most absolute fearlessness. To his courageous conduct must be ascribed the savings of many lives of his comrades that day. Later, when the fire had somewhat slackened, he organized and led the stretcher parties to bring in the wounded whom he had dressed. All throughout the operations of the advance on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of September, Private Young continued to show the greatest valor and devotion to duty. And now, for a brief moment, we're also going to read the poem In Flanders Field. As Private Young was active during World War I, that era in our history saw that poem come to light, In Flanders Field, and this is especially poignant to read it out today on this Remembrance Day weekend. In Flanders Field the poppies blow, between the crosses row on row, that marked our place, and in the sky the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead, short days ago we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Field. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you from failing hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high, if you bring faith with us who die. We shall not sleep though poppies grow in Flanders Field. Okay. Now, the laying of the wreath.
They shall not grow old, as we that are left growing old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them. And now a moment of silence as we remember our fallen. So now that we're done, we're mounting up again, putting on our rucksacks, and we're continuing with the march.
We carry on.
We carry on.
What's going on, bros?
Hey!
You finally made it! What happened?
Man, this is my second time up. Is this...
Well, I have to say, I'm actually staying strong. I have to say, it feels good to have a rucksack on. And it's all muscle memory, you never forget. So we continue.